Thank you for joining Plain Pap Church for online service today. Please like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly uploads.
By God, round the walls of Jericho softly trod, trusting in the Lord, they felt the conqueror's tread. By faith they saw the victory ahead, victory ahead, victory ahead, through the blood of Jesus, victory ahead. Trusting in the Lord, I hear the conqueror's tread. By faith I see the victory ahead. David with the shepherd's sling and 5 stones met the giant on the field all alone. Trusting in the Lord, he knew what God had said. By faith he saw the victory ahead. Victory ahead, victory ahead, through the blood of Jesus, victory ahead. Trusting in the Lord, I hear the conqueror's tread. By faith I see the victory ahead. Daniel prayed unto the Lord, rise each day, then unto the lion's den.
Sermon Preview.
Profiles in Courage, Part 6. Joseph to Moses. He who invited Israel into Egypt, and he who led them out. The Epilogue. Victory ahead. I've written a Christian chorus and verse to summarize for you the Israelites' flight from Egypt and their ordeal at the Red Sea, and it goes like this. When the heirs of promise escaped their enemies, and at the water's edge they stood against that foe that only God could tame, glory led them onward, while floods allowed those choice to walk clean and clear across that bed. No element on earth could thwart their victory ahead. Victory ahead, victory ahead, through the blood of Jesus, victory ahead. Trusting in the Lord, I've heard the conqueror's tread, but now my eyes lay hold on sights of victory ahead. Profiles in Courage, Part 6. Joseph to Moses. He who invited Israel into Egypt, and he who led them out. The Epilogue. Victory ahead.
Welcome to Testimony Time. We understand that some of you are working on writing down your accounts of what God has done for you, but we won't be able to share them if you don't submit them. You may have a Jesus joy smile on your face, but the congregation won't know about the work of God in your life until you share it. So please, say so, redeemed ones. Do you have a burning testimony that you want to give? Then please tell us what God has done for you by using the email listed on the screen. Do you have an offering, tithe, or donation that you would like to give Plain Pap? Then please use the information on the screen to do so as well. For any further questions, please contact us by email or reach out to our church officials. Now it is time for the sermon.
Profiles in Courage, Part 6. Joseph to Moses. He who invited Israel into Egypt, and he who led them out. The Epilogue. Victory ahead. In writing a book, a writer can add to its backstory or prologue, which is contained in the pages of the book before page 0 or 1. And after the main story has been told, some writers include indications as to what will happen in the future in the part of the book called the epilogue, though every story may not have one. And these writers take the time out to tie up the loose ends there. And if, as Shakespeare says, past is prologue, then the future is found in the epilogue. For several sessions, we have looked into the Bible's accounts about Joseph, one of the 12 brothers who was, from a child, favorite of his father by being gifted with a coat of many colors. The reason why Joseph was so favored is due to the trickery of his grand uncle, Laban, who had Jacob, Joseph's father, work for 7 years to win the bride of his choice, only to have her switched out for her older sister at the last moment, and just in time for the consummation of the marriage. 7 more years of labor is what Laban required if Jacob wished to marry Rachel, the bride of his choice. But the treachery of Laban's of charging his nephew 14 years of labor for something which had a 7-year price tag had ramifications into the future, where excessive favor was extended toward Joseph, Rachel's son, because Rachel died in bearing Joseph's younger brother Benjamin. And the children of the weak-eyed Leah, Rachel's older sister, took out their frustration on their stepbrother Joseph. And you should be able to imagine how the children of the bondwomen, Bildad and Zilpah, regarded Joseph since he was the son of favor. Their father's true desire for Rachel was heightened because she died in bringing Joseph's little brother Benjamin to bear, and there was no way that those stepsons could enter the great beyond and wrestle with their deceased stepmom to take their father's favor away from Joseph, which was openly expressed in the way that he showed heavy-handed love for their stepbrother, but by contrast, light-handed love for them. So instead they attacked Joseph, figuring that if they stripped him naked of his coat and treated him with disdain, it would divest him of that favor. And Joseph hadn't yet learned what to do to quell his stepbrother's jealousy, and what angered his siblings inordinately were those dreams which Joseph had and kept on revealing, which said that he, their little Lord Fauntleroy, half-sibling, would one day rule over them. They must have figured him to be drinking too much of the fermented Kool-Aid, and all of those factors came together and caused several of Joseph's brothers to wish him dead. But cooler heads prevailed, and instead they stored him in a pit, then sold him into slavery. When he arrived at Egypt, he underwent the training to be Egyptianized and spent that time in prison upon being falsely accused, until, as the scriptures declare, his time, that is, his day in the sunshine, arrived. And because of Joseph's subsequent promotion to being second in command in Egypt, and due to Joseph's storing extra food during the 7 years of plenty in Palestine, followed by 7 years of famine in the region, Joseph's people had been invited into the place of provision. But after Joseph's time in the sun, he fell asleep with the ancestors, and there arose a Pharaoh who knew not of Joseph's works and deeds, and the Israelites were forced to work with rigor for 400 years. Last Sunday's lesson began with the Israelites being under the aegis of the leader who was leading them out of that place of bondage. And at that point in the narrative, they were facing barriers and obstacles on every side, until the Lord opened up a path beneath the sea, which led them out of the desert and away from the pursuing host of their enemies. And the word which Moses received from the Lord as the congregation clamored against him because their adversaries rushed at them was to go forward. Today's word to the people of promise from the epilogue of the message which was shared during these past several Sundays is to anticipate victory ahead, through the blood of Jesus, victory ahead. Trusting in the Lord, I've heard the conquerors tread. By faith I see the victory ahead. I've even written a new verse of the song for you to help to seal it in your mind. When the heirs of promise escaped their enemies, and at the water's edge they stood against that force that only God could tame, glory led them onward, while floods allowed those choice to walk clean and clear across that bed. No element on earth could thwart their victory ahead. Victory ahead, through the blood of Jesus, victory ahead. Trusting in the Lord, I've heard the conquerors tread. but now my eyes lay hold on sights of victory ahead. Profiles in Courage. Part 6, Joseph to Moses, he who invited Israel into Egypt, and he who led them out. The epilogue. Victory ahead.
Thank you for joining Plain Pap Church for online service. If you enjoyed the word today, don't forget to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We hope that you have a blessed week, saints. Until next time.
Through the blood of